Afreximbank TV.
This is day 2 of discussions of the annual meeting 2024 of the Afreximbank, and we are thrilled to be having conversations with leaders, experts, and movers and shakers in the industry. Today, I am pleased to be joined by the chairman of the Vista Group, Mr. Simon Tiemtore. Thank you so much. How has the discussions been so far for you?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. Thanks for Afreximbank for associating Vista Bank to this magnificent event. Vista Bank is a partner of Afreximbank. It's a trade finance of a partner of Afreximbank. And the event has been great. You know, lots of meetings, lots of successful and critical meetings that we had with friends, with partners, and especially discovering the opportunities in the Caribbean. Obviously, we're excited with the strategy that Afreximbank has put in place to connect global Africa and create a global connection among Africans across the globe. So we're pleased to be here. Okay.
What is the key takeaway for you from these discussions so far?
Well, the key takeaway is we're a global world, number one. And we in Afreximbank try to work together to connect Africans wherever they are, and starting with the Caribbeans. And you know, one of the key takeaways is sheer number of opportunities that we do see here in the Caribbeans that are similar to those opportunities that we also see in Africa. And the private sector also, it's a key segment that we want to bring along with us as bankers, as financial institutions, to support them to capitalize on the opportunities that we do see on both sides of the aisle. So we're very excited for the future and for the relationship between Africa and the Caribbean.
Yeah, like you rightly point out, like none of this, I mean, governments are making decisions, the policymakers are putting the systems in place, the regulatory framework.
Absolutely.
But the private sector is essentially an engine to make a lot of this a reality. So could you elaborate a little bit about the role you see the private sector playing in us achieving this whole idea of a global Africa?
No, I think you know, what we want from government is to enable that, put the enabling environment, which they are doing. And it's for us as a private sector and anybody that is either in the mining sector, in the oil and gas sector, in financial services, to essentially inquire about the opportunities either in the Caribbean or in Africa and try to see how they can capitalize on it. And we have some Afro champions, you know, that are thriving in many sectors, in many areas, in oil and gas, in mining, in energy, in infrastructure, and things like that. I mean, they're here today, and they're excited to be here. And we as bankers are here also to help them. Vista Bank, alongside with Afreximbank, has a critical role to play, you know, in disseminating the information, in connecting people together, in setting up meetings, and then try to find better ways to support the private sector that wants to capitalize on the opportunity either in the Caribbean or in Africa.
What would you say to members of the business community who might be looking, who might be interested? What are some of the things that they need to put in place to make sure that they're able to capitalize whilst all of the other regulatory framework and other things are being put in place?
Well, first of all, is to not let any regulatory hurdle be a challenge or a showstopper, so to speak, you know, for visiting Africa, for coming to visit some countries in Africa wherever they see the opportunity. Same thing for Africans. I think they have to travel to the Caribbean to meet the Caribbean potential partners, to see the opportunity here, learn, and also try to see how they can replicate what they do best in Africa, or Caribbeans replicate in Africa what they do best in the Caribbean. So I don't see any potential hurdle that can stop the private sector from doing so. Typically, the impediment is financial support when you do see an opportunity. But with Afreximbank, with Vista Bank, and with some of the Caribbean banks that we are working with, we're putting in place instruments to enable them to trade among ourselves. And Afreximbank, for instance, has put together a payment platform called PAPS. That's a global trading platform that will enable all of us to trade and to provide the required instrument to the private sector to capitalize on the opportunities that we see.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is, whilst nothing stops business community from taking those trips.
That's right.
As we've heard over the course of the last few days, there still are hurdles,
Absolutely.
and that's why we're here having these discussions.
Yes.
If what are some of those hurdles that you feel, based on your interactions and the work that you've been doing, that you would like to see addressed pretty early as we move forward?
I think it's information gathering and information dissemination. This is my first time in the Bahamas, and I'm excited to be here. My team is excited to be here.
It's a beautiful island.
It's a beautiful island, and we're learning. We're learning a lot from you. We're learning a lot from the community in terms of the opportunity. And this is the first time, but not the last time.
Yeah.
And we would like more of this type of event that bring people together to exchange, to discuss, to communicate, to talk about opportunities and businesses, but at the same time to see how we can create this global environment to connect all Africans to capitalize on the opportunities that is offered to us. And we look forward to coming back here and to do more business here.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right. You've heard from Mr. Simon Tiemtore. I'm going to make sure I got that correctly. The president of the Vista Group. We've been chatting about how the private sector is really an engine to the idea of the Global Africa Initiative. This is Afreximbank TV.